Mhm. Well, that was hard. Oh, thanks. You can do that. Thanks. Um, oh, it was just so awful, and I've never had that happen before, and I had I'm so glad I did this, though. I usually just used my usual YouTube, um, I mean, not my usual Zoom, and I just use the same Zoom link all the time for whatever I do, and I did have enough awareness to, not do it. I was able to report both of those people, so I did take time to just I had to give my email to Zoom to report them, and, so, yeah, I was able to report them, but, yeah, that's so hard. Um, I am really sorry, and, what occurs to me is it's like, we try so hard to heal, and then bad things can happen while we're healing, and yeah. I looked them up, and the link was posted to a group chat. Okay, are you telling me is there something else I need to do to report them, or you were able to find the 2 people. Email me with any information about that. Yeah, if you know more than I do about my, it's a Discord server which it's posted on. Okay, so they're gonna be hard to catch. Is that what that means? I don't know about Discord servers, but are they gonna be is it gonna be hard for, Zoom to catch them then? Okay. Oh, okay. So you got it. Well, I will give that information to just report their server to Discord. Okay. Uh, I and so I just go on Discord, and then I'm able to report them. Maria, I'm glad you're here. Um, Maria, can you take down that information? Well, yeah, if you're comfortable emailing me and walking me through how to turn them into Discord, that's great, and if not, I'll research and we'll try to find that. So it's CCP thugs, and I'll report them to Discord, okay? Um, I feel like oh, good, hi again, okay. Are some I just want to apologize for the people who had to see that pornography that someone put on and then put on again, and I will apologize also for my, lack of competence because it was such a shock that I didn't act as quickly as I should have, um, and yeah, and maybe it was my optimism that made me go ahead and do it again, thinking it was just one person. But thank you for being here, and, I am so sorry that happened to us. Oh, you know the group. Yeah. Yeah, it's good you missed that, fly on. I don't remember your other name. It seems like you've given it to me before. But yeah, someone put pornography on. Yes, it was very shocking. It was really horrible. Yeah. Well, I wanted Maria to be on screen and then she could talk some too. Oh, Anna. Okay. Thanks, Anna, for your name. But she wrote the book. Uh, Maria, how about if you put everything about your book in chat, including the link, maybe the Amazon link to how to, or yeah, go ahead and put the Amazon link to how to purchase it. But I do know too, I talk via phone. Oh, you can talk via phone. So I could put Maria on and then her voice will come through. Yes, that's fine. Maria, how about if you take the time to go ahead and put it in the link and then you can call me and I will answer. Okay, so Maria's gonna call me. I will answer, and then you will get to hear her voice because she was prepared to talk about recovered memories. Um, and oh, I'm so sorry they messed with us on that. And then, yeah, I need to learn how to do YouTube so Maria and I could both be on. Um, how are your book sales going? My book sales are going really well, and I'll let Maria answer that. But since Anthony Padilla let me be on his YouTube channel, I've gotten a lot of book sales. Oh, I have to have a Discord account in order to report a server. Okay, I'll be glad to do that. And any of you can report as well. Um, okay. Or I guess you can. Maybe I'm the only one who can. Here's Maria. Hi, Maria. I have you on speakerphone.
Hi, can you hear me?
Can someone can you, let's see, let me turn my volume up. Okay, say something else, Maria.
There's a little delay, I think, for me. Can
It's
you hear
okay.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you put in chat if you can hear Maria? And go ahead and tell about recovered memories. We'll have you on for a little bit.
Okay, somebody said they can hear, so
Good.
I guess Anna.
And
Okay.
Maria's going to tell us some about recovered memories, and she'll tell about her experience, which has some similarities to mine and has some differences.
I am waiting only because it's a very big delay.
Okay.
Okay, do you want me to start now?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a weird delay. Okay, I'll just go ahead and tell a little bit about my story. I'm not sure how to handle the delay. Okay.
Maybe
so
you need to turn off the volume. Maria, maybe just for your own, you just turn off the volume on your computer, and then you don't hear. Okay, good.
All right, I took it out of my ear.
We have 11 people here.
Okay. So my story is that I didn't remember anything about being sexually abused until I was 42. I was 10 when my brother molested me, and I had no knowledge that anything bad had ever happened to me my whole life, until I was 42. So I went along and had a pretty lucky and charmed life. But then I came down with chronic pain when I was 40, and it wouldn't go away. And I went to every doctor and did every possible thing I could imagine, and it wasn't healing. And it wasn't until my memory came back that I made the connection that my body this was a trauma response, this chronic pain, and that my body was reacting to what it had been holding in for 32 years. And it was at the point when I remembered that my pain really dramatically dropped, and that was the beginning of my true healing journey, which that was in 2007 when I remembered. So it's been many years now, but I'm happy to answer questions, but I'll just tell you what the experience was like a little bit when I did remember. It was a dream that I had that reminded me of what had happened. I was doing Bodywork to help me with my chronic pain, and it was a 2-week intensive of Bodywork that I was doing. I was at an outpatient clinic, and the day before my last night, the night before my last day, I had this dream of my brother was there and a couple other people, but we were adults in my dream, but it reminded me of what happened. So the minute I woke up, I lay there frozen in my bed, just kind of couldn't believe what I had just remembered. And it was so clear and so vivid, like it was a memory that had been boxed up and put away in my brain, perfectly pristine, never touched. So it felt like it had just happened when I remembered. And at the same time, it was so confusing and bizarre because when I remembered, I couldn't imagine not having known this my whole life how could I have lived the life I lived without knowing this and this having happened to me? So it was very confusing. And but I was lucky in a sense because I asked my brother about it a few days later, and he corroborated it, and he said he was sorry. And I was very lucky to get that because most people I know who've been through some of this do not have the benefit of getting it corroborated or getting an apology. So I did get both of those. For what it's worth, I've looked in the research. I think they say about 50% of people, whether they remember or not, get their stories corroborated. So that's just an interesting fact as well. But
that is
maybe I'll
interesting.
stop there. Yeah.
Okay, good. And I'm gonna just ask again if anyone has a question, that because I don't, I don't know what you're wanting from this, and I want to offer what you do want from it. I like to speak with along with Maria because our childhoods were opposite. I mean, I had the most extreme abuse imaginable, and I was tortured. And Maria, you didn't feel any. You didn't even have You did not. It was not physically painful. What happened to you? Is that correct?
That's correct. It's correct. It was a one-time. It was a one-time thing. It wasn't violent. It wasn't painful. It was a violation of my privacy and just a huge betrayal that I think, I'm not sure why I repress this memory. I think about this a lot because it wasn't that severe. And why did my brain decide this was so traumatic to me that I would put it out of my mind for decades? But it was, and I can't. There's no answer to that necessarily, but it's just the way I and my body reacted. So yeah, it's even what might seem like something not that big a deal. It can be highly traumatic and cause the memory to go out.
And Anna has a question. Yeah, how long of a period do you doubt yourself and just feel like this can't be possible? And that, for me is a long period of time. And that's what my film, I hope, well, it's on my YouTube channel. Am I crazy? My journey to determine if my memories are true. That's what it's about. But it took me a very long time. And good, you saw it, Anna. And and you can tell it took me a very long time. I mean, here I'm in my 60s and at my parents' grave. So, and then mother's a molestation, and also doing some more work around with my mother. But I don't think I could totally believe, I think I had to be ready to totally say goodbye to my parents before I could totally believe what had happened. I think that was, and that takes a lot of time, and it's harder for someone who was abused to, well, and here again, Maria and I have opposite experiences because her mother immediately believed her even before your mother, right? Immediately believed you even before you'd heard back from your brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So she got support from her parents, and if you've seen Mother's Molestation, you can see that not only did I not get support from my mother, I also was abused physically and sexually by her. So yeah, I am so glad you are here. And one of the things we were going to talk about was, and again, in case someone's come, the reason we're not on Zoom is because there's someone who, what do they call it, bombed it, or anyway, there's someone who put hacked it, yeah, put pornography on it. And I am so sorry if you were here when that happened. I'm so sorry it happened. But now I'm wondering about the person who tried to be on it early and what happened with that. So I will try to be more aware of how to handle that next time. But it's never happened to me before on any Zoom meeting I've been on. Anyway, okay,
Yeah.
so,
Do you want me to, Mary, do you want me to just answer from my perspective? I mean,
yes?
I know it's very different just to how long did I doubt myself. Even though it was corroborated within days, I still doubted. It was almost like I knew it was true, but I didn't want it to be true. So I kind of kept doubting it a little bit in my mind, and I kept having to remind myself. He literally told me it's true. And I
Yeah.
knew even viscerally when I remembered at such a deep level that it was true. I just knew it. It was so clear. But because I didn't want to believe it, I think I kept questioning it in my head. Even so, I mean, for maybe weeks, for even longer, but I did know it was true. So I had that benefit. But even, like I said, even so, I find it interesting that I was doing that because I'm assuming because I didn't want to know.
Okay. And then thanks, Anna, for your comments. I'm wondering, do you all want us to go into how we healed? I mean, we each have, some advice for people who have chronic pain and are trying to heal. Can you give me an idea how many of you are here to find out healing modalities for yourself or for someone else? Absolutely. Okay. I'm going to assume that's one of the reasons because I posted both and also because so many survivors of child sexual abuse have trouble, have chronic pain. So, my journey with chronic pain, I'm going to let Maria go first. Go ahead, Maria. Tell us
Okay.
some things. And I'm going to have you talk in fairly short segments since you're not on the since you're audio only. So if you can give us a couple ideas, that'd be great.
Okay, sure. Yeah, like I said, my whole journey started from pain. I didn't know I was a survivor until after. So, but the way I've healed, it was, as I mentioned before, Bodywork was a big part of my healing, and I did myofascial release therapy, and that's what helped me connect my emotions to my physical pain and body. So that was a major part of my healing. Many other things like writing, wrote my memoir, and just writing things out was very important. I could go on, but maybe I'll just again to do segments. That's the first biggest piece.
Okay. Oh, someone wants to know autoimmune disease. And I am putting my email in chat so that anyone who is here on the Zoom when the pornography came on, if you need to talk through things with me, I am just so sorry that happened. And I'm glad to talk on the phone with you to I feel like that's the least I can do. So so I'm putting my email in chat. Maria, could you go ahead and say
Sure.
can you describe it more too?
Yeah. Well, my pain, as far as my pain, it was myofascial pain is the diagnosis that I have, chronic myofascial pain or myofascial pain syndrome. And it's one of many different chronic conditions that survivors, that trauma, people who've faced trauma can have, as well as autoimmune diseases. There's so many things that our bodies react to. Everybody reacts in a different way. Mine was neck pain. So for me, and myofascial pain is the fascia, which is the lining around the muscles that's basically restricted and tight and not fluid. So it just restricts down on the muscles and causes pain and doesn't allow blood flow. So that's why myofascial release for me was an effective treatment. Doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. It depends on what symptoms you have and what diagnosis. But for me, it was something that helped start to move my fascia. And really, it sounds weird, but our memories can be stored in that fascia. And I found that out firsthand because when they would work on me, and it's like a massage, in a way like a massage, but when they would work on me, I would start to get emotional sometimes. And then that emotional release would release some of my pain, would reduce some of my pain. So that was how I started, and I still continue to do that. Yeah, I've gone a couple of years here and there without doing it, but I keep coming back to it because I still have residual pain. It's not completely gone, but it's far, far better than it ever was. 20, 10, 15 years ago. So I continue just to keep myself fluid, and I still have trauma held in. Even literally this week, I was dealing with some shame stuff that was still stuck in my body. So.
And I wanted to add, so it seems like Anna may be having trouble, considering body work, and it's really hard to trust a massage therapist when you've been violated, at any age, especially as a child. What I recommend, which is the least, what I recommend foot massage. If I am traveling and I need a massage, sometimes I just had this sense I wasn't sure of sometimes I get a really good feeling about the massage place and the massage therapist, and that's great, and I'll do a regular massage. But one time I just wasn't so sure about the place. It hadn't come recommended by someone else. It was just the closest place. And I asked the massage therapist to only massage my arms, hands, and my lower legs and feet. And she did. So so that's a way to start. If you're not sure you feel comfortable with massage, another thing is to, get a referral, find some therapists know of good massage therapists. And I have a wonderful massage therapist. She's just so good. But she's in Bellingham, Washington, where I live, so that's not going to do very many of you any good unless you just happen to live here. But if you even if you go online and see comments that have been made about them or whatever, I really encourage. I could not have gotten well without massage. I absolutely could not have gotten well without massage. The problem with massage for me is the cost, and it is expensive. And I've also had physical therapy, and a physical therapist usually does a little massage in with the physical therapy. And physical therapy has been really helpful to me. So if you have insurance, physical therapy might be more affordable. And I'm currently doing both. I'm getting massage on a regular basis, and right now I'm in physical therapy as well, working on some of the last residual pain. But yeah, massage just really helps me. I bought a massage table, and my husband sometimes gives me massages, so that's another way to do it. Or maybe if you have a survivor friend that you and her or you and him can trade off with, could be a way. But yeah, I think if you can feel comfortable with massage, I think it's very healing.
Yeah, and let me just add too, Mary, that the myofascial release that I've done is through many of them are physical therapists. So it's the John Barnes method that I've used, and I did get insurance to cover my myofascial release bodywork.
Okay. Good.
And I see the question says, oh, you might want to read it too.
Yeah, I will. And Maria, could you go ahead and I think you talked about giving people your email address. Could you go ahead and do that? Okay. And one thing I want to say, Maria, I think we already checked you're willing to give your free PDF of your book to people by email. Is that right?
Yeah, I have that. And I also do have some, my audiobook just became live this week. And I have about a five or six that I can give away for free as well.
Perfect. So Maria will put her email address in, and if you can't, if you can afford to buy her book, please do. But if not, if it's a hardship on you to buy it, then just email her and she'll send you some things free. Her book is really good on telling about not only her healing, but also um, a, a number of different healing modalities. I also write about my healing in my book, My Life Now, Essays by a Child Sex Trafficking Survivor. And so, yeah. Oh, Anna says, thanks, Maria. Okay, so I'm going to answer Anna's question. Do I know what areas of the body are commonly affected? And I just have been affected all over. So, like, what areas of the body you normally have pain? Well, I had fibromyalgia, and so the pain just is all over your body. One day it'll be one area, another day another area, just like it moves around your body. And so that's what I had. And fibromyalgia, I mean, is sometimes a result of child sexual abuse or child physical abuse, or not only, I'm not saying that that's always the case, but it's not. It's a common thing for survivors to have. Another thing is chronic fatigue, which is similar, but it's not, doesn't really have the necessarily the severe pain component. But I also had chronic fatigue. Um, yeah, just so tiresome and low energy. And I still sleep. I still sleep more than the average person. I sleep 9 or 10 hours a night, and that helps me. That helps me to have the energy that I need. So I'm more careful with my body, and I think my body always will need that after what I was made to endure. I don't know if that was really your question, though, Anna. And I think Maria must still be writing her email address in. Yeah.
I did. Well, I wrote my email address, and then I put my website, because when you were talking about treatment,
Yeah.
I talked about it in my book of what I did, but I also have a website, and I put it's healingfromchronicpain.com, which is just free to peruse. And I do talk about different treatments on one of the pages there. So I was going to write that, but now that I just told you, I don't need to write it. But,
okay.
Just to answer that question too, I don't know. Again,
Maria, I still don't see your email, by the way.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It says it was sent. Let's see. I don't know. I'll send it again. Does anyone else see it? I don't know.
Does anyone see Maria's email address? Okay.
I put the healing from chronic pain at gmail.com. I have a couple of different emails, so I could try a different one.
Still not there.
All right. I'm going to try.
No, let me. Oh, no, you're not the only one here. And we've heard from 2 people who couldn't find it. I think that I can put it on here.
I tried it again. I've got healing for chronic pain at gmail.com or Socolof at 5waves.org. Either one.
I don't know why we can't see you here, but I'm going to put it in Maria's email.
I don't know. Is she typing it? I am typing into YouTube as far as I can tell. It looks right above where she said, is she typing it in? My message comes up.
Okay, for some reason it doesn't for us. So let's forget about it. And because now you see it, I think you see that I just put it in, right? Yeah. So you can use that email.
And you might want to put my healingfromchronicpain.com website too.
Okay.
And let me just answer too about where the pain can be, because like you said, there are some conditions that are all over, like fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, but it also can be specific in any location. Mine was located in my neck. Some people have migraines and headaches. Some people have pelvic pain. It really can be anywhere, and it can move around. Sometimes people have some pain in one place, and then if it's still unresolved pain from trauma, generally it could move to another place. When you think you've mastered it and it shows up somewhere else, it usually means there's still some more work to do on what's behind it, I have found. but it can be anywhere really. And even other types, not just physical pain. There's other symptoms as well. Digestive system and things like that too are all often affected.
We have 8 people here right now. Cool. Do either of you have? Yeah, I've had body memories. Oh, how do you tell the difference between body memories and body pain? Yeah. Let's see. Well, I can tell it's a body memory sometimes because I remember something. Like, for instance, my knees and lower legs were so cold, like I couldn't go to sleep, and I'd put huge amounts of blankets on and stuff. And then I remembered that that was a punishment, that if you tell, you'll, or I would be put in, well, I actually would be put in cold water up to above my knees, just freezing water, and then that was a threat too. So sometimes I can tell it's a body memory because I remember more, and I do tell in my book about a body memory, which I'm not going to tell here because I think it's a little too graphic. But again, email me and I'll tell you in which essay it's in. But yeah, it is hard because there's a part of my body that I still have pain. It's my right glute, and I tried to figure out what the body memory is because I just want it to go away. And it seems like, it's going away through me doing physical therapy exercises. So it seems more physical than it does body memory, more physical than psychological. And I was kind of hoping it'd be psychological and it would just go away. But I'm having to do, I'm just having to strengthen certain muscles, and then I get, I get memories as I'm doing it, or I just get more sad than, I have exercises that make physical exercises that make me sad. Well, obviously that's psychological, but my healing is being, how I'm healing from it is through the physical therapy exercises. I will mention one other thing, because with massage, if you're not comfortable having someone else touch you, a type of body work I've done, you get special equipment, which is overpriced, but anyway, I've gotten it. If you use it, it's worth it. It's called Melt, MELT, and it's a type of they have you don't have to go to someone to teach it because they have it online. They have online things. It can end up being affordable if you do it long enough to make the equipment worth it. And it's since it's a self massage, then no one else is needing to touch you. I'm putting it in chat, and then Maria, you can take that question.
Yeah, was this? Sorry, I was starting to write something down. Was this about the? I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. About the. Oh gosh, it keeps going. Will you just repeat what you were?
Her question is, do either of you have body memories, and how do you tell the difference? I guess between body memories and just
because we jumped back to one of the other questions, I got confused. Yeah, I guess I don't really, because my abuse was that one time, and when I think of the only time I have some of the memories is in the bedroom, and so I'm not sure, honestly. And when my pain is mostly in my neck. So I feel like, and there was nothing that happened to my neck, So I think there are just two distinct things for me, and I don't know that I have body memories. Like I said, except I think in the bedroom, I guess that would be the only one that feels like when I'm, when something's happening, and then I go back into that moment. But it's not a separate thing on my own when I just feel something. So I guess I haven't really experienced that. Or I don't know if I am.
Okay. Someone asked about autoimmune, which I think fibromyalgia is considered autoimmune, but I do think I very much believe in that our minds and our bodies are really connected, mind-body connection. And I was thrilled I got to interview Dr. Bezel van der Kolk in my movies, but his book goes into that. The Body Keeps the Score. And so I think, one thing that I talk about with advice for people wanting to heal is to just be easy on yourself and to think of your recovery work as a part-time job, because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, and the payoff isn't right away, but it will pay off. I just want to really encourage people as they work on their recovery, that recovery will end up working.
Yeah, I like that a lot, Mary, because that's exactly true. It's time consuming and it can be exhausting, but it's well worth it, and it does get you to a better place. So, and I know what I was forgetting before. It was a question about people who don't really like to get touched, and whether to do body work or not. I did find the body work really helpful for me, but after I did body work for a long time, I did some EMDR and somatic experiencing. Now, those are more kind of on the talk therapy side of things, but it's a good mix where I felt like I was still getting, maybe because I had already done the body work, but I was still getting to some of those deep places and feeling physical things just from the somatic experiencing. So they were really tuning into, the therapist was tuning into what my body looked like it was reacting to. And I was having releases like I do in myofascial release the same way, just from more talking, but understanding what my bodily reactions were. So that might be one way to, maybe if you start with somatic experiencing, to start understanding what somatically is happening, then you might feel, and sometimes they would, just put a hand on my back, or, just one hand, not any real work. So that might be an introduction into some body work. I'm not sure.
And I've had lots of body work, and the body work that has helped me includes pelvic floor physical therapy, which is actual. The physical therapist is trained to treat the same area of the body as a gynecologist treats, and that's been helpful to me. I had severe vaginal scarring, and the scarring has gone away because if you're scarred in that part of your body, those scars are easier to um, uh, recover from or to heal from. So I say more about that in my book, and I don't know how much the people on this call are comfortable talking about that type of thing, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I have my email up if someone wants to email me, especially anyone who had the horrible experience of that pornography being put on Zoom, on our Zoom today. That was so bad. And I'm sorry I didn't handle it more swiftly, but I could tell I was not functioning at my best. It did affect me to have that on screen. And so, again, my apologies that you had to experience that today.
Yeah, Mary, I know you're not going to go in detail about what you were just talking about, but also that myofascial work that I did, the ones that are physical therapists who do it, they do that kind of work as well, the internal work. So, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, yeah, so I learned something today. So, yeah. Well, how about if I get people to say, do you want to know more? Do you want us to go more into healing or more into recovered memory? Are the doctors aware of the mental health benefits of massage? Yeah, some don't get it, and some don't. And even with my physical therapy, there's been, oh, we want more on recovered memories. Yes, we're going to go to recovered memories. Yeah, but yeah, I've had really good medical doctors and not as good ones. Okay, recovered memories. One thing that I especially wanted, because Maria's a researcher. She went to Harvard. She has a science degree from Harvard, and um, I I am I well, I am educated. I have a master's degree in social work. So I have an education, but I'm I don't tend toward finding out the statistics and that type of thing. And I thought we could be a good pair, me and Maria. Yeah, Lena, I'm so sorry to hear your mom doesn't believe you and you've lost your whole family. I lost my whole family. Absolutely. And and I was disinherited. My siblings have reunions, and they invite my ex-husband and his wife. It is really sad, but that's my last thing. I'm just still working on trying not to let that sadness, trying to heal from that sadness. And so, and I won't go into my sons, but I do write in my memoir, in the family essay and how I healed. I do write something even about my sons related to that. So, yes, it's very sorry for anyone who that happens to. Oh, I'm glad the troops. I'm glad you have a sister. You still have a sister, and well, I've had cousins at different times. No one's in my life on a regular basis at this point, but the cousins have been helpful. So, but yeah, it's so hard to lose your family because I mean, I think of people as like herd animals. We're used to being in a herd, and it's just really hard to be torn away from that. And we each find ways to have family, and that's really important. I'm thinking about having YouTube live on Christmas Day, and I had one Mother's Day, and having them on times like that when people think of family, because in some ways we on this YouTube live together are family. I mean, we really are family for each other. So, okay, I'm going to give. Oh, let's see. Well, yeah, and Maria's an exception because she didn't lose family because of her recovered memories. Her brother apologized to her, and her mother believed her even before her brother admitted it. So, yeah, has
Yeah.
it changed? It hasn't really had any negative impact on you as far as your family, right, Maria?
I mean, nothing like what most people have experienced, like saying here that, they've lost their family. It's not perfect. I haven't seen my brother in, I don't know, 30 years. um, but, but but it's because he lives far away, or there's always excuses, it seems. But, it's strained with him and I, but I'm lucky that my parents, like you said, I told my parents like the day I came back from that therapy, and I asked my brother 3 days later. So my mother did hear first, and she completely believed me. So, and that's one of the reasons why I speak out and why I wanted to do this with you, Mary, because we have different stories, and my story is that it's corroborated, it's true. If anybody doesn't want to believe us, I can say I'm only one person, but I know there are other people too. That probably have it corroborated that it's true.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so sad and sorry that people are not believed.
Yeah.
But as far as my brother, it's still a little strain, but even in the last 2 years, things have gotten a lot better.
Oh, things have gotten better, since I've known you, because you've had good talks on the phone since then.
Right.
And he does live, very far away from you, so the actual contact is harder. Yeah. How do you handle it when people say false memories is a thing? I mean, and that ritual abuse doesn't exist. I'm going to tell about a conversation I had this week, and it's de-identified, so you'd never know who it was with, but it's someone who contacted me on Facebook Messenger after seeing my film or after reading my book, I think it was, and she's like, "You're the first person I've known with a childhood like mine." And it was, ritualistic abuse. There was a murder. I have witnessed murders. And but the thing that's different about her is her grandmother left pictures for her. She said, "I'm going to leave these for you." And she left a box of pictures, and they're child pornography. So she has been able to turn those to the police. They're wanting her to get to a point where she's sure she can handle it psychologically to actually testify, and she's getting close to that. But they say that this can't be true because it's so bad, and she has the pictures. She has pictures, photographs to prove it. So that and I have 5 relatives with memories similar to mine. That's a big the fact that I had vaginal scarring. I mean, I have a lot of proof, but some people are not going to believe it no matter what. And Lena, I'm glad my film was helpful to you. Um, and yeah, it's really tiring. These people who aren't believed, and no matter what happens, I mean, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk is very well respected as a psychiatrist, yeah, it is. Yeah, believing. I thought you were putting bullying. It is a type of bullying to say, they're not true. I mean, because really, there's many beliefs we have that we have, but we still believe it. I don't think I could court of law that my husband loves me, but I know he does. Influences my life, and so just because you can't prove it in a court of law doesn't mean, I mean, if you tried to live your life, well, yeah, people have joked about Dr. Loftus, because she's in my film, that, unless you have footage of it, you can't say for sure it exists. And they were like, that must be really hard for her. She must not trust that she remembers where she parked her car or whether she even drove to work or whatever. I mean, we live our lives trusting our memories. We couldn't live without that. And so yeah, and just because things are so horrible doesn't mean they're not true. I mean, that's when I interviewed Bessel van der Kolk, was when we were having to see beheadings on television. They were televising the atrocities done in another country. Yeah. If you don't have proof, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And also, something I also would warn you about is when you do get proof, it's really hard, because there was that part of you that didn't believe it, and then you get proof, and it can be really jarring to get that proof. I interviewed my cousin on camera. My cousin didn't let me use her image or her voice, but I hired an actress to really get the tone of her voice very similar. But she was the first person I had ever talked to who had been sexually violated by my father. And so that was, it was, well, you can see my images as I'm questioning her and as I'm reacting to her information. So, yeah, it's really hard for people who aren't being believed. And this is something that I think Maria can come in with because she has people not believing her, even though she's it's proven to the extent something could be proven.
I mean, I don't know that like before. Yeah, that's true. I've had people say, are you sure? Um, and I'm like, well, yeah, I am. But I haven't had too much of that, because I am able to say sometimes it just ends the conversation if I say, he proved it, or he said it, but they just won't pursue the conversation any further. But I haven't really had too much doubting once I'm able to say I know. But like I said, people still don't want to believe themselves, I think.
A question, thank you, Maria. Once you started remembering, how long did it take to fully regain it all? And I'll let Maria answer also. But for me, um, I remembered at age 37. I am 68 now, so I have had a memory just within the last few months. On the positive side, it doesn't affect me as much as it did when I first remembered things. And really, what affected me the most was when it would affect a relationship I had or wanted to have, um, or when I had to believe my um, when I had to believe that my father was not trustworthy, and my ex-husband did not believe me. He would at times say he believed me, and then at times not. And that was really painful. But now, when I think of, I was married to him 23 years, how long I put up with that because I had already, I remembered I stayed married to him 10 years after remembering. And sometimes he would believe me and sometimes he wouldn't. So I'm very happily married now. I got married in 2010, and my husband and I have been married 13 years, and we're very happy. So my second marriage is great. Okay, I'm going to let Maria talk about the question is, how long did it take to remember? Oh, the other thing about remembering everything, that's the part I wanted to put in. I'm never going to remember everything. I never want to. I never need to. I only ask to remember the things that will make a difference for me or for another person. And at one point, I was getting these just horrific memories. It was maybe just a year after it was when I was about 38, maybe 39. And finally I was like, God, are you just trying to tell me it couldn't be any worse than it was? And it was like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, because I kept minimizing my abuse. And when I made a deal with God, I won't minimize my abuse anymore. And I don't need to know all of my atrocities that happened to me. And so that worked for me. I don't want to know all of them unless knowing would help me or help another person. Do you feel like you've remembered everything, Maria?
Well, yeah. So for me, it's interesting. So for me, it was a one-time event, and I do feel like I did, but there are other things that happened right after, not part of the abuse, that I don't remember, like telling, like, okay, so let me tell the story. So yeah, when I remember, it was 32 years after it happened. I had no 000 recollection of anything ever happening until the moment I woke up from the dream that I had that reminded me. So that it was 32 years. And but then afterwards, a few years after I remembered, my parents brought some boxes from our attic, and we found some letters I wrote to my mom, nasty letters. I was all mad as a 10-year-old, my dad had put the date on the note, so I knew it was right when that happened. And I was just cursing out my mom, basically. And so now I don't remember doing that at all, but I feel like that may have been part of the reason why my memory went away, because I felt like my mother didn't believe me at the time. I think I said I wanted to sleep with her that night, and she rejected me. As normally you would say to your 10-year-old, go back to your own bed. But I needed her that moment. And so I don't remember that, but there's evidence from this note that that's what happened. So, but my memory of what happened was very precise. Like I said, it wasn't a horrific thing. It was to me. And I just remember specifically what I was thinking. Like I remember thinking, I'm going to pretend I'm asleep. I'm going to slowly wake up. I'm going to stretch my arms to make it look like I'm waking up, so he'll know I'm starting to wake up and he'll stop. Like, this is what I was hoping. So yeah, I remember all those thoughts that went through my head. But then I don't remember getting up and leaving at all. I just remember those thoughts saying I'm going to get up and leave. Don't remember leaving. Don't remember where I went. Don't remember anything after that. But I definitely remember the specific thing when it was happening. So it's very different from my story, yeah.
Oh, and it sounds like someone has something similar. I did the same thing. Are you talking about you did the same thing as what Maria is talking about? Yeah. Well, and you don't have to say more. That's fine. I appreciate these comments. It's great. Pretending to be asleep. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, I think sometimes it helps to talk, and we can feel like we're so different than people, but really, there are a lot of us who are survivors. And I think about that. I'm in a book club, and someone was saying, because I mean, there's a lot of artists who have gotten caught as being abusers, people in filmmaking and writing, singers, all. And so someone was saying, well, it's so. She was figuring out how it's more prevalent among artists. It's like, no, it's not more prevalent among them. It's just prevalent. And if she says that again in book club, I've thought about what I'm gonna say, but it's like it's 1 in 4 women were sexually abused as children. I'm not the only one here who was sexually abused as a child, and people come to me privately and talk to me, no one in that particular group, but I imagine it's true too. Um, and yeah. And you're saying most artists I know have been abused. Oh yeah, a lot of artists have, and a lot of famous ones too. Some go. I've forgotten a male singer, and I can't remember his name, who went public, and it was so. He talked about it in detail, and I thought that was just so healing for me as a survivor. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's hard when the abusers are people in authority, attorneys and judges. Yeah. Oh, and we have someone from Germany. Yeah, if you want to write down where you're from, that's always fun to me to know um, who I've talked to from where in the world. East Coast USA.
That's me too.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, Maria and I are from different coasts. I talked to my physical therapist about you today, Maria, and she said, "Oh, the one who wrote the foreword to your book." So she had started reading my book and she recognized your name. Oh, hello. Yeah. So hi from Detroit. Yes, me and I'm on the extreme West Coast and Maria's on the extreme East Coast, so we're opposite sides of the country. Yeah. I agree with this. It's like people being so freaked out about a registered sex offender in your neighborhood when really you should be afraid of the man next door. Yeah,
or sadly, somebody in your own home.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Very sadly. Yeah. Maria's organization, Five Waves, there are, why don't you tell about them? Because I want people to know that they're also for the parents when a child has been experienced sibling abuse. So I'm going to let Maria tell a little bit about Five Waves. It's a nonprofit that she's one of the founders of.
Yeah, thanks. So it's called Five Waves, and the WAVES stands for Worldwide Awareness, Voice, Education, and Support around sibling sexual trauma and abuse. And we formed about a year ago as a nonprofit. We found each other. There are five co-founders, and two of us are survivors of sibling sexual abuse, and three are parents of children who have experienced it. So we're sort of unique in that we have the perspective of the parents and the survivors. And really our goal is, not only awareness and everything, but to prevent this in the future. So, if we can understand it from all sides and understand the family, the difficult family dynamic that is unique to it, because for parents who's, it's both their own kids, it's like an impossible situation to be in. And in a lot of cases with a lot of sexual abuse, a lot of times the children aren't believed. I think it's easier sometimes to be in denial and not believe, but that doesn't help the survivors, we know. So, we are, just doing what we can to get more awareness about how prevalent it is, because kind of like we were saying, everyone believes in stranger danger. They hardly believe in incest and intrafamilial abuse, and then sibling abuse on top of that is even less recognized, because often is passed off as child's play and mutual, but that's often rarely the case. And there's a lot of circumstances that, it can be a younger child abusing an older child. It can be, very close in age. It can be a one time. It can be, and more often, it's more than 5 years on average. So it can go on for years. So we're trying to raise awareness.
Thank you, Maria. Someone's asking, hi, Mary, is this live now? Nothing showing. But so I don't know if that's in a comment, but she or he can't get onto the live. So yeah, showing where is it? Yeah, we're not doing it on Zoom, and we're not doing it on Zoom because someone hacked in and put pornography on screen. And I'm so sorry that happened today, but we are just YouTube live and not on Zoom. In fact, I won't ever use that Zoom link again. So I
did have somebody. I did have somebody.
You answered, so you're live now. Yes, I'm live. Oh, it was maybe because Maria, you were talking, and so she couldn't. My lips weren't moving. So yeah, Maria's on my phone, and she's she was talking at that time. We have 10 more minutes, and really maybe 7 more minutes. So I know some people just came on because I saw there were more here. Do you have questions you want us to answer? Maria and I both have recovered memories of child sexual abuse, and our childhoods were very different because my abuse was extreme and Maria's was a one-time incident that was not physically painful. And so we can answer questions about recovered memory and also about healing. Maria's willing to give you her book. I will put down her email again so you have that. Or I don't know, on YouTube Live, can you scroll up, and even if you just got here, can you see the messages from before you? I think maybe you can. I'm going to put her email again.
Yeah, and I noticed that some of the places I posted, I didn't get a chance to tell them that it was on YouTube, that it wasn't on Zoom anymore. So
yeah.
Okay. About 10 minutes ago, so maybe.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, good.
I jump on. I don't know. Also. Okay, can you still hear me?
I can. Oh, apparently Lena is saying hi to Flo. Okay, so some of you know each other. Cool. I just put Maria's email again. So if you want a copy of her book, email her. You know, if you want a copy of your book and you can easily afford to buy it, that would be great. But if not, just email her and she'll send you a PDF of it. Yeah, and same with me. If you can't afford my book and you really want to read it, you can email me. So yeah, okay. Well, if people came from something you posted, they would probably want to know more about healing from chronic pain, do you think? Or I'm going to let you just answer.
I don't know if it came from there or not, though. Yeah.
I'm going to let you answer something in general. And if anyone wants to, if any of you have a question, please go ahead and put it in. We have about 5 more minutes now. And I'm going to put this up here so people can see that I'm listening to it. But Maria, you want to give a, maybe a last comment or?
Yeah, and let me just say, if anyone just came on and wants to talk further, I'm always happy to talk. And and take emails and everything else. So we can continue the conversation. But yeah, my story is just that I had chronic pain for 2 years before I realized it was linked to past trauma, essentially. And then once I started working on the trauma and through body work and psychological work and lots of other things, writing and just taking better care of myself, I began to heal. And that was in 2007 is when I first remembered, when I was 42. I'm now 58, so it's been a while, and I'm very much healed, but I still have some residual pain, and I just rest when I need to, and my neck pain was what it is. So yeah, but I'm 1,000% better than I was when I was debilitated for 2 years, more than 2 years really, with chronic pain. And that's the pain side. And then the recovered memory is, I don't know if I said that part recently, but yeah, I recovered my memory of the one-time incident of my brother molesting me when I was 10. And I was 42 when I remembered. And my parents believed me. My family's been great, actually. And I'm reconnecting a little bit with my brother. It was a lot of back and forth. He answered a lot of my questions when I emailed him when I first remembered, and I had a lot of processing to do. So he was, kind enough to answer my questions and communicate with me. So I was lucky in that way.
And your brother, you believe he did not go on. He did not molest anyone else. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm 99.9%. Maybe I'll never know for sure, but yeah, I do not believe he did. He was actually abused outside of the home. I found out before he did what he did to me. So he said that's the reason he did it. He was very confused. He had been abused by an older boy, and with sibling abuse, the siblings are just so accessible that he just acted out on that one time, and then he said he realized it wasn't the right thing to do, so he stopped. I'm lucky in that way because a lot of it goes on and on unnoticed. So I was lucky in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And I'm a survivor of what is often called satanic ritual abuse. I just say ritualistic abuse. I don't know that my parents were worshiping Satan, but they did the sort of atrocities that are known as a part of satanic ritual abuse. And I was sex trafficked by my parents. So I had experienced a lot of different kinds of abuse. And I was victimized in child pornography. I am so sorry that happened to each of you, but yeah, I may need to process a little bit that person hacking in and putting pornography on the Zoom today. That's awful to see. And but especially for a survivor of child pornography or and so yeah, that's I guess I will just kind of processing it out loud. That's just so sad someone would do that, knowing they're doing this to survivors. Um, that's so sad. Someone would um, would do that to survivors, and I mean to anyone. Um, and I'm just realizing now what if I'd realized at the time, it wouldn't have happened the second time if I didn't let anyone be on video. And so when I was letting people back in, I shouldn't let them be on video. And actually, that might be a way to prevent it if no one could be on video. But I don't know if they could because it it was hacked in such a way that it was on everyone's screen. So I will try to learn more about that. Again, I apologize for it. If you want to talk through it with me, I have my email there, so feel free to do that. But yeah, I guess I'm being, you know what, I've started to say I'm kind of embarrassed to be so affected by it, but no, I'm not embarrassed. It was hard, and
That was hard.
I like to model that's hard, and if it was hard for you and you want to talk to me, I'm glad to do that. Um, so yeah, glad to do that. Um, and if someone wants to talk to you, could they email and set up a phone call, Maria?
Yeah, I'm open to that. Yeah. So my email should be there, the chronic pain, healing from chronic pain at gmail.com.
Okay.
I see there's one. Did we get the question? It says, what Lena said, what helped you most in your healing journey? I don't know if you got to
no, I didn't. Go ahead.
Answer that one. Yeah. So I'll just quickly, I said this earlier too, but for me, Bodywork, healing, myofascial pain, I'm sorry, forgetting everything. What's it called? MFR, myofascial release therapy, is what was the first part of getting me to connect my trauma to my body pain. So that was that. And then I've also done talk therapy. I've done EMDR. I've done somatic experiencing. I'm now doing this ISTDP, interim short-term dynamic psychotherapy. So there's a lot of things I'm happy to talk more about with anybody if they want to contact me or call me. But I think most was the myofascial release, because that kickstarted everything for me to make the connections to my trauma.
Thank you, Maria. And I have a hard time answering what was what helped me the most, because my list would just be so long. So I'm just going to go ahead and end here. Thank you, all of you who came. It's been good to be with you during this time. Okay, I plan to do another YouTube Live. I plan to do them about once a month. So I'll see you again. If there are times of days that are better for you, then right now let me know, or days of the week or anything, feel free to email me with that information or put it in the comments. Okay, thank you, and goodbye.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.